In this tutorial, I'll go over how to set up the meeting registration site to take registration from multiple attendee types. I'll also show how to activate the registration site to make it available online. Let's go back to the meeting that I've been working on. And you can create attendee types by clicking on the attendee types item right there. And the notion of multiple attendee types within a meeting is really to enable different audiences to have access to different sets of activities or different sleeping rooms, or maybe even answer different questions depending upon their specific attendee type. To add an attendee type, simply click on the Create button here and type in the name for the attendee type and click Save, and that's pretty much it. Once you've done that, they show up on the list here. You can set up one of the attendee types to be the default attendee type. And then beyond that, what you can do is then go to the site builder to build a site for each individual attendee type. You can create completely different registration sites for each attendee type, but generally speaking, it's much easier to start with one and then copy it to the other attendee types. So in this particular case, I've already created a registration site for general attendee type, and what I'd like to do is copy it to the speaker attendee type and then to modify it. To do so, I click on Copy Site, and as you can see, I'm going to be copying from the general attendee type to the speaker attendee type. I click on Copy here. The system tells me that I'm done with that. And now what I can do is then go to the speaker's registration site to make the changes that I want specifically for that attendee type. So I'll go ahead and select the speaker attendee type here, and then I'll click on Modify Site. Now we have the site builder for the speaker. As you can see, or maybe recall from the previous tutorial, this is identical to that of the general attendee type. And what I'll do in this case, for instance, let's say I'll go ahead and remove housing because the speakers won't need to sign up for sleeping rooms. I can simply delete that page. And you can do a save and pretty much make changes as you see fit. You can actually, in fact, change every registration element, all the images. You can even change the layout and so forth as you see fit. But generally speaking, it's easier to copy from one attendee type to another. Okay. And once you've done that and you're satisfied with everything you've done for this point, what you can do then is actually click on the Activate button to make it available online. When you do so, you'll be asked to review some parameters in preparation to making this available online. You'll be asked whether this is an invitation-only event, in which case you have to send out emails containing an invitation link that takes them to the site to register. You can configure whether or not to ask the attendee to log into the registration site, and when you go through the communication process and send out an email, you can merge in an entry code that the attendee must enter in order to access the site. Beyond that, you can also establish registration deadlines, whether or not you want to allow the attendees to change registrations. If you do allow them to change registration, what the deadline would be for that, or maybe you want him to be able to change the sleeping room and deadline for that as well. You may also choose to allow time conflicts for activities. The way the system's set up by default is that if you have activities that occur in the same time or overlap, the system will not allow the attendee to sign up for both activities. And then what you can do here down the bottom is actually configure the site URL. So in this case, let's just quickly call it AQ4, and that's going to be the prefix, and the suffix will be based upon the ootoWeb server that you're actually using. And you can also configure a browser window. So let's say I want to call this Q4 sales kickoff, so that this is shown on a browser window when folks come to register. And then I click Activate. And now the site's been activated. You can proceed to send invitations for folks to come and register.